Hello, this is Adrika Singh from class 12th B. So today I'm going to explain the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, which is written by Stephen Spender, and this poem is taken from the Flamingo book of class 12th. So you can see the image of the book, and the image of Stephen Spender is also given here. You can see him clearly, and let's quickly read about the Stephen Spender. Sir Stephen Harold Spender, this was his full name, and he was born on 28 Feb 1909, and his death date is 16 July 1995. He was an English poet, novelist, essayist whose work concentrated on themes of social injustice and the class struggle. And the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum is a very good example of this theme. He was appointed poet laureate consultant in poetry to the United States the Library of Congress in 1965. Okay, so let's go to the next page, and the theme of the poem is given here, and the theme is social injustice and class inequalities. So the poet describes the social inequalities which are prevailing in the society, and he describes the conditions of the students of an elementary school which is situated in the slum area, and this is the whole theme of this poem. And to understand the theme is very important to understand this whole poem. Okay, so let's read the first stanza. Far, far from gusty ways, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn around their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted unlucky hire of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim glass, one unnoted sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room other than this. This poem is written in free verse. That is, there is no rhyming scheme in this poem. The poet compares the children's faces to the rootless weeds. Okay, so what is rootless weeds? Here, the image of rootless weeds is given, and rootless weeds are those unwanted plants which grow on by their own in the field, and the poet says that the children's faces are like the rootless weeds, that is, they are totally unwanted, they are totally useless because of their poverty. Their future is full of darkness. And the poet also describes the physical appearance of the children, that their hair are torn around their pallor faces. Why the children's faces are pallor? Pallor means yellowish in color. So the children are not having good quality food. They are suffering from malnutrition. This is the reason behind their pallor faces. And here the image of the classroom is depicted in this image, and the poet also describes about a tall girl, that the tall girl is sitting with her head down, and the reason behind her down head is because of tiredness, or maybe because of the shame or poverty. Okay, so the poet describes about another student, that the boy is like a paper. His appearance is like a paper because he is so thin that he resembles to the paper, and because of his poverty he doesn't get rich food. He is suffering from the malnutrition, and because of this the poet compares the eyes of the boy to a rat eyes. Okay, so here the image of the rat is given, and the eyes of the rat is always searching for food. He is always searching for the food, and the poet says that the boy is like, his eyes is like a rat's eyes because he keeps searching for what he doesn't get. And the poet also describes about the boy who is suffering from the disease which is inherited by his fathers, and due to this disease he is having a deformed body, and he is reciting his lesson from the desk. Basically he's sitting on the desk and he is reciting his lesson, and at the and at the back of the class there's another student who is unnoted, means unnoticed by everyone, and he is sweet and young, and his eyes is full of dreams, and he is busy in seeing the squirrel's game. So this is the first stanza, and let's see the literary devices used in the stanza. So the first literary device is simile, and the simile is, children are compared with rootless weeds like rootless wheat. So this is the simile, and metaphor is also used by the poet. Boy is compared with paper as he is thin, paper seeming boy. So this is a metaphor, and repetition is also used. Use of far to stress on the distance. So this is the literary devices. Okay, so let's go to the next stanza or second stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belt flowery Tyrolese valley, open handed map awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed with a lit sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. So the poet describes about the wall of the classroom, that the wall is painted with a cream color, and it clearly means that the wall is not painted recently, because the color of the wall is off white or creamish, and the charts and images are also hung on the wall, which is donated by some people, and the image of Shakespeare is also hung on the wall, and here the image of the Shakespeare is given, and the wall is also shown in this image. So Shakespeare's head is having less hair, and it means that Shakespeare head is a bald head, which means that he doesn't have much hair on his head. So his head is compared to the dawn, to the sunrise, and there is also a picture of Tyrolese Valley, which is full of flowers. And Tyrolese Valley is a valley situated in Austria. So, image of Tyrolese Valley is also given on the wall, and the cities and the civilized dome of the cities is also given on the wall, and a image of a map is also hung on the wall, but the image of map and all these images are totally vain for the children because their whole world is out of their window. That is the slum, and their future is also the slum. That is, their future is full of darkness because they are not having the good quality education, and it clearly means that their future is covered with darkness. So the poet compares their future to a fog. Like in fog we can't see clearly, so we also can't see the future of the children clearly. And the poet also compares the future of the children to the narrow street, that there is no hope of their bright future, and it is very narrow, like the narrow street, and it is locked with a lead sky. That is, it is locked with a dark sky, that is, it is full of darkness, and it is far away from the rivers, caves, and the stars of the woods. So, this is the second stanza, and here the word meaning is given. So, sour means unpleasant. Here refers to the color of sour cream, off white or creamish. Donations means things given or received in charity. Dawn, early morning sunrise, civilized dome. Here it means rising sun at the horizon, which is in the shape of a dome, semicircle. Tyrolean Valley, a beautiful ice-free valley in Austria, sealed, shutter locked. Lead, here dark future of kids. Caves, a large piece of land that sticks out into the sea from the coast. So this is the word meaning, and here the literary devices is given. So the metaphor is used by the poet in this stanza. The first metaphor is walls are described to be dull as sour cream or sour cream walls. The second metaphor is the future of the kids is described as limited, narrow street sealed with a lead sky, and allusion is also used, reference to well-known person or place. Shakespeare had Tyrolean Valley. Repetition is also used, far repeated. Okay, so let's see the third stanza. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slowly turn in their crammed holes, from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones, and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so plot their maps with slums as big as Rome. So the poet describes about the hardships faced by the students or faced by the children who are living in the slum area, and he says that surely the Shakespeare is a wicked person, is a evil person for the children, because they are not loved by anyone, and because of this the children consider everyone as their enemy, and this is the reason that the poet says that Shakespeare is wicked for them, and the map is also a bad example for them because their whole world is out of the window, that is the slum area, and because are they are not loved by anyone, so this tempted them to steal the love, and the map shows the ships and sun, and it tempted the children to steal, and the lives of the children is slowly turning in the cramped holes, and it is approaching towards the endless night, from fog to the endless night, that is, it is approaching towards the darkness. Their future is approaching towards the darkness, and these children wear skins peeped through by bones. That that the children are so thin that skin is, that their skin are like a cloth, a thin cloth, and their bones is peeped through by the skin. So this is because of their poverty, and they are suffering from the malnutrition. They are not getting rich food, and this is because their bones peeped through by the skin. And they wear spectacles of steel, which is cheap or which is uncomfortable for the children. And it is like that the spectacles are repaired, and it is like the glass is kept on the stone, and the spectacles are repaired. So all of their time and space are foggy slum. Their world, their time and space are the foggy slum. That is, their future is the slum, and this is the reason behind their approaching the darkness of the future. And the poet requests to blot their slums as a big dome in the map. Here, the image of the spectacles is given. It is a repaired spectacles, and ships is also given. The image of a crammed hole is also given, and the image of the children is also depicted in this picture. So this is the map, the which is described in the stanza, and here the word meaning is given. Wicked means evil, tempted means persuade, slily means strictly, cramped means confined, slag heap means pile of waste materials, mended means repaired, blot to mark with a spot, doom means disaster. And the literary devices used by the poet in this stanza is simile. Children are compared with rootless weeds, like rootless weeds metaphor. Boy is compared with paper as he is thin, paper seeming boy. And repetition is also used, use of far to stress on the distance. Okay, so let's read the last stanza of this poem. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break, oh break, open till they break the town, and show the children to green fields, and make their world run azure on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into the books. The white and green leaves open history theirs, whose language is the sun. The poet requests the governor, the teacher, the inspector, and the visitor to help the children and make their future bright, and to make their future like shown in the map. And he says that make their future like shown in the map, and make their future like the window, and this their future is like shut in the catacombs. Catacombs are the subterranean place for burying the dead body, and the poet says that their life in present time is like a catacombs. They are shut in the catacombs, and here the image of the catacombs is given. And the poet requests the visitors, the governor, to take a look on the conditions of the children and help them to bring from their darkness future, and to approach their future to a new bright future. And the poet further says that show the children to green fields, and show the children to the green fields of the nature, so that they so that the nature becomes their inspiration to gain knowledge, and the poet requests the inspectors and the principals, the visitors, that the children should be run azure on the gold sands. Okay, so azure means blue sky. So the poet says that let the children run on the gold sands and let their tongues run naked into the books. That the children should be provided with a good quality education, and and when they will get good quality educations, then the history will become like and their history will become like a sun, like their previous life is full of darkness, and when they will be given good quality education, and when they will be given books, and when their life is out of the catacombs, when their life will be out of the darkness, then the history of the slums children will be changed, and it will like the sun, like the bright as the sun. Okay, so this is the explanation of this whole poem, and here the word meaning is also given. Catacombs means tomb, symmetry, and azure means deep blue. Literary devices is used in this stanza metaphor. Books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. The white green leaves open. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Here some questions is given. Let's go through it. And the first question is, who is the writer of the poem? A. John Hoyer Updike, B. John Donne, C. Kamala Das, D. Stephen Spender. So the answer this is Stephen Spender. The second question is, what is the theme of the poem? Social injustice and class inequalities. Social justice and equality. Childhood is the best stage of life. D. None of these. So the answer is social injustice and class inequalities. Okay, so the next question is, Stephen Spender was born in A. America, B. Japan, C. Britain, D. France. So the answer is C. Britain. The fourth question is, the children's faces are compared to rootless weeds. This means that A. They are insecure, B. They are ill fed, C. They are wasters, D. None. So the answer is B. They are ill fed. Okay, so let's see the next question. This poem is a part of the book A Man That Failed, B. A Girl That Failed, C. A God That Failed, D. None of these. So the answer is C. A God That Failed. And the next question is an example of simile from the poem. A. Like a lion, B. Slums as big as tomb, C. As big as mountain, B. C and D, none of these. So the answer is B, slums as big as doom. The next question is example of metaphor from the poem is A, tree room, B, rat size, C, squirrel's game, D, all of these. So the metaphor from the poem is all of these. And the next question is, which one is not an example of metaphor from the poem? A. Crammed holes, B. Futures painted with a fog, C. Like rootless weeds, D. Father's gnarling disease. So the answer is C. Like rootless weeds. The ninth question is example of alliteration from the poem is A. Far, far from gusty ways, B. Surely Shakespeare, C. Bottle bits, D. All of these. So the answer is all of these. D. Run ashore on gold sands. Dash. Run naked into books. Dash. Poetic device used here is A. Simile, B. Metaphor, C. Anaphora, D. Repetition. So the answer is C, anaphora. Because run is used two times in the sentence. So, this is the whole explanation and the question of this poem. And thank you.